Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I ask that you all please stand as the Metro Transit Police Department Honor Guard presents the colors. Those in uniform, please place your hand across your heart during the presentation.
Watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the ready, step. March.
Thank you to the Honor Guard. Everyone, please be seated. Sergeant Rhodes, also thank you for that rendition. We appreciate it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Gordon, commander of the Training Division, and it is my pleasure to serve as your host for today's ceremony. On behalf of Chief Michael Anzalo, the officials, officers, and members of the Metro Transit Police Department, I welcome you to the graduation for Class 123. As we begin today, I would like to introduce our seated guests. We have WMATA's General Manager, Mr. Randy Clark. We have WMATA's Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Brian Dwyer. Our Chief of Police, Michael Anzalo. Our guest speaker, Mr. Charles Andy Penn of the Arlington County Police Department. Deputy Chief Warren Donner of the Patrol Operations Bureau. Deputy Chief George Nader of the Administrative Services Bureau. Deputy Chief Steve Bohm, I gotta take a breath with this and say this one, the Commander of the Homeland Security Intelligence and Investigations Bureau. Ms. Shonda Louise, Director of our Community Services Bureau. Mr. Tom McGuire, Director of Security and Infrastructure Protection. And Mr. Denton Rourke, Director of the Office of Emergency Management and Liaison for the Metro Transit Police Department. We will also have joining us up here, FOP Representative Mr. Travell Moreland. He'll be joining us in a few. He was part of the Honor Guard. So it is my pleasure to introduce and give you a little background information at this time about our Chief of Police. As the Chief of the Metro Transit Police Department, Chief Anzalo leads the only tri-jurisdictional police department in the United States with just under 400 sworn police officers, 116 special police officers, and nearly 75 civilian personnel. Chief Anzalo oversees the safeguarding of more than 1 million Metro Bus and Metro Rail customers each day and the safety of over 11,000 employees. He is responsible for the security of revenue, bus, and rail transit vehicles over 90 metro stations, where we have the Loudoun County line that just came on, so I believe that's going to put us at like 95 or 96 stations total there. 35 parking garages and numerous support facilities throughout the 15,000 square mile Metro Transit zone. Please welcome Chief Michael Anzalo, who will introduce.
Oh, thanks, Ray. Good morning, everybody. Really, congratulations to class 123. 12 of them started and 12 of them are here today, which is kind of unusual. We usually lose about 5 to 10%, going through the process. And I know you all families probably heard some of the, angst or whatever that goes on with recruit training, but it is a long process. And so they not only complete the almost 6-month academy in Northern Virginia, then they come back to us, and the training staff here does a great job. Then they do another several months, and now they're getting ready to go into their 10-week field training program. So from the time of hire to start the academy to the time they're certified to patrol alone is about a year, which is the longest process in the United States. So great job. So during the ceremony, when your family member or friend or loved one comes up, you can come up and take pictures too. So don't be shy about that. It's actually my pleasure to introduce our new general manager, Mr. Randy Clark. He's been our general manager since July of 2022. I know Ray read off some of the things that I do. His is about 15 times more complicated than what I do. So he's got a big job here at Metro. He's been a big supporter of the police department. We really appreciate it. Mr. Clark, he was the CEO in Austin, Texas transit system. He also worked up in Boston at MBTA. He has over 20 years in the business. He's worked on various projects around the world. So please welcome Mr. Randy Clark, our general manager.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Great. Well, it should be an enthusiastic morning for this amazing celebration, huh? Like this is the best part of the job, right, Chief? So, and I actually like the Chief had all those responsibilities. I was saying to Brian that I like when the Chief responsible for all those things because it makes my day feel a lot better. So, Chief, we might add some other things onto your before it's said and done. But privileged to be here today. Thank you for letting me be part of this. I've had the opportunity to see other graduation ceremonies in some previous roles I've had. It's a special, special day. So I'm really happy to be here. So one, thanks to the Chief and the command staff, the training staff. Chief Penn, thank you for being with us today to give your remarks. And thank you to the families for letting your loved ones be part of Metro. And I mean that sincerely. When you become part of not just a police department, but in transit, I think specifically, you are allowing your loved one to have another family that you have to share time with. And we're 24/7, 365 organization. I think they probably told you that during the process, right? So, you know, all of the kind of days that a lot of people in our country want to have the opportunity to spend with family, July 4th, marathon days, New Year's Eve celebrations, things of that nature, that's when actually we do our best work. That's when the community relies on us the most, when the most amount of people have to get around in a safe way. We're there. And your loved ones are going to be part of that. So they're going to do something special for for our community in those days, but that's a sacrifice on your end. And so we want to thank you as an organization, and I mean that sincerely. Thank you for all of the commitment you are making to be part of Metro. So seriously, thank you to the family. And then, of course, I want to congratulate all of our graduates today. It's so exciting to see you all here. It is a long process, as the chief said, but we're happy you chose Metro. Right now, there is a national shortage of police officers. That is not a secret. We all know that. This is a hard profession you have chosen. And we want to have your back, and we want to support you for your career. We don't want you to come here for a job. We want you to come here for your career. We want you to be part of Metro for the rest of the days you want to actually work, right? Now, hopefully that's a long time. That's not retiring early. So, but we want to invest in you. We want to support you. We know these are challenging jobs. You're going to be out in the community. I believe there is no closer community policing in the world than transit policing. There's no parking behind a church and talking to your colleagues, you know, kind of taking 10 minutes and de-escalating after a. You're in the public view all day, nonstop. Everything you do, the public will see you. And there's good and bad about that, right? So there's an intensity and an expectation level that is going to be set. And you also have the opportunity, though, to actually touch people's lives in such a direct way. So I hope I encourage you to use the benefit part and don't worry about the other part. So what we're hoping is an transit police officer engagement is as much about talking to people about getting around the system and providing, you know, a visitor how to get around as much as it is to actually do some, you know, actual enforcement. We want that community approach where you're a representative of the agency and yet you have special powers when have to be needed. And knock on wood, we have behavior in our system where the special powers aren't needed that much, right, Chief? From time to time, unfortunately, they may need to be. But you have that special responsibility as a police officer, but we also want you to lean into the community side here, and I know you've been taught that, and obviously you believe that by signing up with us. I will say, when I was in Boston, the chief mentioned that I had the honor of running security and emergency management in Boston. And so I worked very closely hand in hand with the chief and a lot of the police department. And I remember when I had that position when the Boston Marathon bombing happened. And I will tell you, I've never been more in awe of law enforcement in my entire life than watching some of my colleagues and friends run to people, and I have multiple colleagues, run to people, put tourniquets on in the danger of not knowing where the next package could go off and save people's lives. And I sat next to a police chief who made the decision to keep trains moving to evacuate a city, not knowing that we may have other explosives on trains. And so the just respect that I have for all of you and what you do every day, I want to just personally say I appreciate you, and this agency appreciates you. You have potentially sometimes a dangerous job, and we want you to know you are appreciated and respected for what you do. And my last couple comments would be, I think, again, back to that responsibility piece. One of the parts of our culture we want to do across all of Metro, and obviously part of the transit police, we want to be feeling like it's integrated to Metro. It's not a department by itself. Yes, you have roles and responsibilities that are different than other departments here at Metro, but it's one Metro family. So when you're out in the system talking to your colleagues, the bus operators and rail operators and station managers are your colleagues. There are different types of colleagues, but they are your colleagues, and they are actually really looking to engage you. The one cultural thing we're trying to do Metro-wide is we want people to just do the right thing. And if you make a mistake, just put up your hand and say you made a mistake, and we have to have a culture that respects that and values that and is not disciplinary in nature. What we also want to do is, if we have bad behavior and people cover that up and lie about it, the cheat, steal kind of stuff, we want everyone to not only not do that, we want others to report on that. That's the culture we want. It's the best culture where someone makes a mistake, we have to have your back. If you see other people doing something that's not right, you have to step in and do the right thing. And if you do that, you have my commitment. As long as I'm the general manager, I will always have your back. So take that with you. The last piece is, what I love, Chief, is seeing the diversity of this class. It reflects the diversity of this great organization and this amazing region. And it's special, what we have here in this region. So thank you again to the families. Thank you again to all of our command staff, our special guests, our training staff, and congratulations, graduates. I'm out in the system every day, so I promise you this will not be the last time I see you. So thank you again.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Clark. Definitely appreciate those kind remarks and the advice given to the rest of us from these officers. The next person I want to introduce is our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Brian Dwyer. Mr. Dwyer, he joined us here in August of this year. He's got 34 years, at least 34 years in the transportation sector, 25 of them up in Boston. He's worked at APTA as well as on various projects across the United States and around the world on transportation issues. So please welcome Mr. Brian Dwyer.
Folks, good morning. I can guarantee you I'll be brief because what I have been trying to set up since I got here, I joined the agency a little while after Mr. Clark, and to me it's almost like when, I went to a trade school, so we weren't necessarily great at presentations, but to me, you always want to be the first one up there because when the A+ student gets up there, it's always kind of wanting after the fact. So I haven't worked that out. I'll continue to as we go forward. Quickly, folks, I had a brother who graduated from the FBI Academy as a DEA agent in 1987. I was 21 years old when I went down there and saw him graduate, and I was never so proud of anybody in my life. And when I look out here today at the families, as Randy and Chief mentioned, it's really looking at you all and seeing the pride you have in the folks you have graduating today. So really happy for you. And to Randy's point as well, there's a bond that we all collectively will have now that these people are Metro employees, and we're very, very thankful to have them. I had a couple of other remarks. I should say I kind of grew up in a rough neck of the woods. So a guy, when we went down to the FBI Academy, made a joke about the fact that they were trying to get more South Boston recruits just so they wouldn't have so many people that they had to pull in. So he was trying to get a couple of us also to join, but didn't happen. One thing, my mother was a very religious person. And one thing when my brother joined the DEA, she did is she took a special devotion to St. Michael. And St. Michael, for those of you who don't know, is the patron saint of law enforcement. And there's a line from the prayer for St. Michael that talks about being our protection against wickedness. As Mr. Clark mentioned, you folks have a solemn job here. And part of it is to protect the folks who we have out on the system and our employees. But it's really important as well in this day and age, as was mentioned, just to try to be a human being to everybody. And I know the chief and command staff have been incredibly progressive and focused on doing things like bringing in crisis intervention coordinators to help with some of the people we have on the system now. And I guess I would close with, Randy mentioned the idea, and I'm reading from the oath you'll take here, of the special trust placed in you as Metro police officers. I would tell you that you can take a special trust in the command staff, the chief, and Mr. Clark. Because although you'll take that oath as well, we have an oath to do right by you folks and do everything we can to support you. So thank you very much for being here today. Thanks for your dedication and appreciate the time. Congrats all.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Dwyer, for your kind remarks. Next, I'd like to recognize Officer Travell Moreland from the Fraternal Order of Police. Travell, say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Officer Travell Moreland. I represent our FOP. I'm a union trustee. Class 123, are you ready? I don't believe you. Class 123, are you ready? Yes. Family members, are you ready? That's what I'm talking about. Our job is constantly changing, but what hasn't changed is what's expected of us. We're still responsible for protecting Metro's patrons, the property, and more importantly, each other. That's our job. Look left, look right. Stay in contact with each other. Keep informed about what's going on in each other's lives. You all went through 10, 12 weeks of training together, so you're like a family. We're all a big family now, but you guys are more close-knit. Understand this place and how it works. Know your history. Don't forget about Harry Davis and Marlon Morales and what that means to this department and what they did when they went out there. You know, we're a family. So family members, they're going to need you. They're going to have some good days. They're going to have some trying days. Check in on them. Make sure they're okay. And support them with the same energy that you just said when you're ready. Support them with that energy. Love on them hard and give them all the support that they need. And they're going to be fine. They're going to be excellent officers, and we thank you. And I'm excited to have you out here, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you, because in 10, 12 years from now, you're going to be sergeants, lieutenants, captains. You're going to be taking my spot, running the honor guard and everywhere else all over this place, because that's how it works. Get involved. Be invested. This is your department. There isn't too many things I haven't done. This young man standing right here, I did his job 10 years ago. I've been in peer support. I'm on the honor guard. I'm youth liaison. I'm all over the place, and that's the expectation that's upon you. Don't sit still. Stay busy, all right? Congratulations.
I don't really want to talk anymore after those phone calls. Chief Penn, you got a hard act to follow here. So at this time, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our guest speaker who's up next. Chief Penn has served with the Arlington County Police Department for over 30 years, beginning his career as a patrol officer in 1992. He rose through the ranks and was promoted to Deputy Chief of Police in July of 2015. He was appointed as Chief in June 2021. During his tenure, he has provided oversight, direction, and strategic planning for all aspects of the Arlington County Police Department. Chief Penn is committed to advancing best practices in policing. He has identified and focused departmental efforts in several key areas, including implementing a body-worn camera program, establishing internal work groups to review police practices, including creating a bias-free policing policy, and legislative changes, as well as partnering with area law enforcement agencies. When he is not actively engaged as a member of the Arlington County Police Department, he serves as an adjunct professor for Marymount University. Chief Penn has been married for over 30 years and has 3 adult children. Chief?
Good morning. It's truly my honor to be here with you today. Some of my favorite parts of this job are today, welcoming new officers, and promotional ceremony. So it is truly my privilege to be here with you today. First, I got a little shorter here. First, I would like to begin by congratulating each of the new officers on completing their initial training. This is a significant milestone in your path to becoming a solo patrol police officer, and an accomplishment you should take great pride in. The officers here today have taken a solemn oath to protect and serve the hundreds of thousands of passengers who travel each year using the Metro system's bus and rail lines. From area residents commuting to their workplaces, to Nats fans heading to the Navy Yard, and tourists sightseeing at the area's historic monuments and memorials, these officers will be there to answer the call and ensure public safety. With this responsibility comes a unique challenge, one in which these officers all rose to. In addition to completing basic police training at the Northern Virginia Criminal Justice Training Academy, these officers completed compliance training in Maryland and the District of Columbia. Their comprehensive training program included reviewing ordinances for the cities of Alexandria and, cities of Alexandria and the District of Columbia, as well as the counties of Prince George's, Montgomery, Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, and all associated courts and prosecutorial offices. That's a remarkable amount of training. That's a remarkable amount of information to retain and remember. So congrats, that's well done. This is not a small undertaking, but their training, professionalism, and integrity will be front and center with each call for service they respond to and with every person they encounter throughout their career. I also want to thank each of these graduating officers. Thank you for choosing a career in law enforcement. As I reflect on my own career over the last 3 decades, that just sounds bad to say 3 decades, I can honestly say there is nothing quite like leading a life of public service. It truly takes a special person to do this job. You will be there to help people during their toughest days, and during moments of uncertainty and danger, you will put the safety of others before yourself. But this work is incredibly rewarding because it makes a difference in the lives of those you interact with. This is also an important and exciting time for these officers as they begin their lives of public service. The badge they now proudly have pinned to the uniform is a representation of the trust and authority granted to them. This is a huge responsibility. Police are entrusted to care for communities, help those in need, be fair and impartial truth seekers, and maintain public safety. It is my experience that the overwhelming majority of police officers chose this profession because of their desire to serve others while seeking justice and to make a difference. I challenge each of us to never forget why we chose this path and not take the tasks inherent in this noble and distinguished profession lightly. We must approach our work with an attitude of service while treating everyone we encounter fairly, with dignity and respect, while impartially enforcing the law and ensuring everyone's constitutional rights are protected. Our job is to be the problem solvers. So I encourage you to be very thoughtful and intentional in your actions and always be willing to do what is within our power and ability to make things better. We are all humans and certainly not perfect. We will make mistakes. Our challenge is to learn from each mistake and strive to always do the right thing for the right reason at the right time. Being a police officer today requires each of you to wear multiple hats as a law enforcer, a psychologist, a social worker, a mental health worker, and the list goes on and on. When you show up on a scene, everyone will look to you to fix the problem. Please know we all recognize how much we're going to be asking of you. Remember, safety is always our #1 priority. So when you're not really sure what to do, and that's going to happen at times, once you make the scene safe, you will have time to work through any problem or seek assistance if needed. You were each selected to serve in this incredibly important role, and that is because your leadership has faith in your ability to do this job. Trust in that. I still remember my academy graduation from 1992, and I was every bit as excited as you are sitting here today. Much has changed over the last 3 decades. Admittedly, more will be demanded of you than when I was a new officer. As I mentioned earlier, you will not only be a police officer, but also a mental health clinician, a social worker, a mediator, etc. You also will need far more IT skills than I and your chief had when we started policing. And then there is video. Almost everything we do today is on some type of video. My suggestion to you is to embrace this fact. If we are doing our best, following the law and our agency policies, and treating each person we encounter with dignity and respect, we should have no concerns with our actions being recorded. What remains unchanged is that each call for service or citizen interaction is different, each with opportunities for us to help others and make positive impacts and impressions on those we encounter. Maya Angelou wisely said that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. It is important that we each remember the interactions we have may be the only contact a person has had with law enforcement, so we have opportunities to make good impressions, provide exceptional service, and professionally do our job. Another area that has not changed is the camaraderie that exists within law enforcement. There are few jobs where we each may rely on our coworkers to save our lives. So the bonds you will form will be deep and long-lasting. It is my experience that the more I engage in all facets of my career, the more rewarding the job is. Law enforcement is a team sport, so I encourage each of you to be a student of our profession and dedicate yourselves to being the very best that you can be in all that you do. This is a great job. Each of you should be incredibly proud of your accomplishment, proud of your new profession, and proud of your agency. We are very fortunate in this area to have incredibly professional police departments that all work together with the common goal of community safety. I truly believe that we are at our very best when we're working in partnership with the communities that we serve. Building trust across the community begins with building relationships, being transparent in our operations, and being willing to have open and honest dialogue. Each of us has an obligation to do all that we can to foster and grow this relationship of trust between our agencies and those we serve. No police department can be successful without having meaningful and collaborative relationships with surrounding agencies. This cannot be understated in the National Capital Region, where we must work diligently to ensure the safety of all who work, live, and visit this area. As I mentioned before, the strong relationships you build with your coworkers are crucial, but it is equally important to build relationships with members of other agencies, so you have resources to call upon in times of need. I first began working with your chief over 15 years ago and have learned much from, we have maintained a strong working relationship throughout the years. I have learned much from Chief Enzalo and consider him both a mentor and a friend. I am confident in saying that you have a dedicated leader who will serve you very well as your chief. The last few years has been tough for all of us, to include law enforcement. Over my career, I have witnessed highs and lows of our profession, but recent years have been particularly challenging with much focus on police. I see this as an opportunity for each of us to be a part of reimagining policing where appropriate and working collectively to move us all forward. Let's be honest, we, like every other profession, are not perfect. And each of you now will hold an incredible amount of authority over others. This authority must be used judiciously, professionally, and equitably in every circumstance. If we approach our work from a service mentality and strive to find the best outcome for every situation while always being mindful of our policies and legal requirements, we will succeed. As a profession, we will continue to face challenges in the days, weeks, and months to come, but I am confident that our profession will continue to rise to these challenges while providing exceptional law enforcement services. While as individual agencies we are already really good, we must continue to acknowledge that there is always room for improvement and be intentional in seeking these opportunities. It is also important that we remember the overwhelming majority of people want the police, respect the police, and appreciate the police. This type of support is built with every interaction each of us has, and each of us has an obligation to never tarnish our badge or disrespect our oath or do anything leading to the community losing trust in us. Law enforcement must never settle for complacency and always push to be better. We must strive to become better every day as we aim to improve our communities to make them safer places for everyone. As I have discussed, law enforcement is an incredibly rewarding profession, but at the same time, it can be equally challenging. It is important we each maintain balance in our lives, be diligent in seeing things through multiple perspectives, and actively seek the joy that comes from this meaningful life of service. As a police officer, you will be called upon to perform deeds that few will ever be able to understand, appreciate, or even be able to perform themselves. It is not common to disassociate from the things you experience at times, so the trauma or devastation does not impact you. But it is important for each of us to remember that we are all human beings, people who experience ups and downs in our personal lives, work stressors, and everyday problems that all people encounter. My ask is that you always remember that you are human with feelings and problems like everyone else. Please do not bottle it all up and be too tough to ask for help when you need it. This is one area where I believe our profession has grown significantly during the time that I've been in law enforcement. When I was new, we were told just to suck it up and carry on. That only worked so well for so long. It is clear that at times seeking assistance is the best move and the only move that supports a long and successful career. You must all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your families. In regards to family, I want to pause to speak directly to our family and friends who have joined us here today. It is important we take a moment to recognize your service as well. None of us can do this job without the love and support of our family and friends. Please understand the role you play for these officers means more than you can know. So I wanted to take a moment to thank you for your service and support as well. I want to close with some simple thoughts. Integrity is essential to this job and must guide all of your actions. This is a great job. What you do every day truly matters and makes a difference, so enjoy it. Be proud of your new profession. This is a noble calling, and you share it with the many brave men and women who have worn the badge before you. Pay attention to your work-life balance and make sure you have a life outside of police work. Always, always find the joy in what we do. Some days you may have to really look for it, but I assure you it is there. Even on the toughest of days, challenge yourselves to focus on the positive. And remember to laugh. It's important. Work hard, do your best, and be a part of the team. Treat everyone you encounter with dignity and respect, just as you would want a member of your family to be treated. And finally, always remember, the name on your patch represents your agency. The name on your name tag represents those who raised you. Represent them both with honor and integrity. Again, congratulations to you all. I wish you all the very best in a long and successful career. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Penn. At this time, we have a presentation from the Chief to you.
Okay, I'm a little bit older than Chief Penn is, so I definitely appreciate his long remarks. We've known each other for quite a long time, so I wasn't joking though. But now we compete for officers all the time. But, we do have a great working relationship. So Chief Penn, I just wanted to present this on behalf of again, thank you for all your work in our community, being a valued partner, and thanks for coming out today.
Thank you. Much
So, appreciate everything that was said there. Those were some good words for you. You guys are going to hear a lot of the same things being said today about integrity, making sure that you keep a work-life balance and things like that. One of the things I add to that, when you go home with your family, don't speak police talk all the time. Do something else, trust me. You need to get away from it and decompress sometimes. So, I'm sorry, just to move on with the program. So, at the end of each recruit class, the members select a spokesperson to share a few words at the graduation ceremony. So at this time, I'd like to call Almost Officer Adine Hemphill up to the stage. There you go.
Good morning. I'd like to acknowledge General Manager Randy Clark, Police Chief Anzalo Deputy Chief Nader, Donham, Bowen, Ms. Lewis, distinguished guests, family and friends, and class 123. Though still a relatively young department, Metro Transit Police has not spared the fate of losing officers in the line of duty. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember MTPD officers Harry Davis Jr. and Officer Marlon Morales and the 184 officers killed in the line of duty this year. Thank you. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to stand before you and speak on behalf of Class 123. It is amazing to believe it has been 8 months, 6 days, 3 hours, and 43 minutes for each of us to be here celebrating this day. But who's counting? 12 complete strangers from all walks of life came together with one goal in mind: to become a Metro Transit police officer. Class 123 is a diverse group representing Cameroon, New York, New Jersey, Jamaica, North Carolina, Connecticut, Nebraska, and our very own DMV area. We managed to come together as one despite our differences, backgrounds, personalities, and skill sets. We accepted the challenge and the opportunity to become part of something bigger than ourselves. I think I can speak for my entire class saying that we will never forget January 24th, 2022 at approximately 0700 hours sharp. That's the day hell, drill week began. We thought we were all squared away. I'm telling you, our boots were shined, our uniforms were ironed to a crisp, and our hair was slayed as if it was the first day of school. Well, we all thought wrong. No sooner than we could get into formation, we were introduced to the true meaning of front lean and rest, push-ups, wall sits, and taking our gun belts off and going to the beach. Imagine us outside in the middle of winter, a crisp 40 degrees, and we were all sweating so much that you would think it was 90-degree weather. It was in persevering through times we learned the importance of sticking together, counting on one another, putting one foot in front of the other, and fighting the resilience to push ourselves through what beyond we thought was our best. Immediately after drill week, we headed to Northern Virginia Criminal Justice Training Academy for the first phase of our journey. We were mixed with 17 other agencies throughout Virginia with the same goal that we had in mind. Many of us had to travel at least an hour or two away each day to be on time for morning formation at 0600 hours. Upon arrival, we were challenged with physical fitness, control tactics, reality-based training, firearms training, defensive driving, and fighting to stay awake during countless
in the building. Leave the building immediately
Oh, nice.
using marked stairways and do not use elevators.
Stand by.
We're going to be really safe in the room.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? There has been an emergency reported in...
I think we're back in action.
I thought we had to work sooner than I thought. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Fighting to stay awake during countless hours of morning legal lectures. And then there was OC Day. Witnessing each of us fighting through the most painful things we experienced in life had us all questioning, is this really worth it? Of course, all of our answers were yes, because none of us quit. During that time, we became more than classmates. We now consider each other friends. After five and a half months of training, it was tough watching all of the Virginia agencies being sworn in as law enforcement officers and deputies, and each of them clowning us for still being recruits. But to be quite honest, we all knew we could use a lot more training. And so we went back home proud to take on what DC and Maryland compliance had in store for us. Our first week back, yes, the very first week, we were introduced to the one and only CEW training, better known as Taser, which was the second most painful thing experienced in life. I didn't know at the time we would hear men scream at the top of their lungs as if they were auditioning for a soprano role in a choir. Nonetheless, we still had so much more to learn in this phase. With each passing day, we've grown closer, we held each other accountable for one another, we recognized the importance of having all of our gear. If nothing else, it was the risk of us being smoked, or in other words, getting stronger. We've been tested and pushed to our limits physically, mentally, and emotionally. The mental capability of retaining all the information given to us is not for the faint of heart. From learning the geography map of the DMV to the laws, policies, procedures that all three jurisdictions MTPD governs. Class 123 would like to thank our training instructors for preparing us day in and day out. Thank you for pushing us towards success and your willingness to help mold and shape us into the police officers standing before you today. Your hard work and dedication will never go unnoticed. Thank you, Chief Anzalo and the entire command staff for this life-changing and rewarding opportunity that you have given us to pursue our dreams. To our families and friends, thank you for your unconditional love and support, for understanding when a job requires so much of our attention, for being by our sides through the ups and the downs. We love you. And finally, Class 123. Oh, how I'm going to miss seeing your faces every single day, laughing, working out, and just trying to make it another day at the training division. Today is our day, but it also marks the day that our training wheels come off, and when the scene is hot, it's hot. No more calling red light or tapping the mat when the force is just too much to bear. It is time to put in the work. As early as Sunday, some of us will begin our field training portion of this journey, which in and of itself will bring on new tests and challenges. We might have to issue that citation, take away someone's freedom, or even respond to a medical emergency when someone's life is dependent on ours. I challenge you to always revert back to your training, to never give up, to stay in the fight, because we all will go home at the end of the tour. I implore each of you to always keep your integrity intact and never compromise your values. And if you ever feel close to giving up or giving in, remember all of the faces in the room who believe you, trust you, and is counting on you. Thank you so much for being who you are and going through this journey with me. This is only the beginning. At this time, I would like to call up soon-to-be Officer Dixon to help present a token of appreciation to Chief Anzalo on behalf of the Class 123.
So I just want to point something out. The training at the academy was necessary for them. You know, it wasn't like it was all bad or anything like that, but once they graduated, especially once they graduated from Northern Virginia, we know they felt good and they wanted to get out there, but you know how it is, once you've accomplished something, the head tends to expand a little bit. So we had to deflate that energy a little bit and bring them back down to earth. So that front-leaning rest was necessary, you know, and it helped them to be where they are today, right now, okay? So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit. Just had to help them out a little bit there, you know. All right, so before calling up the chief to administer the oath of office, I would like to acknowledge the command staff and thank the members of the Metro Transit Police Training Division, our Background Investigations Unit, WMATA's Office of Human Resources, and all the instructors who've played a vital role in helping to get Class 123 to where they are today. So also at this time, I'd like to call Sergeant Belton and Officer Collins up front. Come on. Class has a presentation they'd like to present to you. So just so you know, Sergeant Belton runs the training side of this, and Officer Collins is the one who makes sure it all flows through and everything. So they run all the training here. I get to take all the credit when it goes right.
On behalf of Class 142, Sergeant Bowden, thank you for being with us here. We appreciate everything you guys have done for us.
Thank you.
They had no idea this was going to happen, just so you know. So this is ad lib. So now we're getting down to the part that they really like and what they're looking for. We're about to have the oath of office. Prior to Class 123 taking the law enforcement oath of office, it is important they understand what this oath means. An oath is a solemn pledge an individual will make when they sincerely intend to do what is said. The oath is a powerful vehicle demonstrating high ethical standards through long-standing traditions and commitment. The oath is administered to every Metro Transit police officer. Chief, will you please administer the oath?
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me.
Dean Hemphill.
Marcos Vasquez.
Cynthia Benjamin.
Bruno Orange.
Chantal Dixon.
Brad Carter. Jason Grieco.
Jean Bassoman.
Roberto Hernandez.
David Santiago.
Cedric Garcia.
Daniel Krenza.
Do you hereby swear or affirm?
Hereby swear.
Or affirm?
Or affirm.
Now don't mess this up. That I will support and defend.
I will support and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
And will discharge my responsibilities.
And will discharge my responsibilities
As a police officer.
as a police officer
Of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority.
of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority.
With dispatch and total dedication.
With dispatch and total dedication,
Integrity and impartiality.
integrity and impartiality,
And will faithfully perform the duties of my
and will faithfully perform the duties of that office. I will obtain all my duties lawfully.
The facts without fear or favor.
Without fear or favor,
I will accurately report my findings.
I will accurately report my findings,
Regardless of whether they establish
regardless of whether they establish
the guilt or innocence
guilt or innocence
of an individual. They, as well as enforce law. Where it is incumbent upon me to do so. I will abide by the rules and regulations
I will abide by the rules and regulations
of the transit authority.
of the authority,
And I will obey my superiors
and I will obey my superiors
in all
all matters
of duty performance. I accept the police credential shield as being representative
as being representative
of the special trust placed in me
placed in me
as a Metro Transit police.
as a Metro Transit police officer.
Chief, thank you for administering the oath. As everybody can see, this is a new building, so we're working through some things right now. So Hopefully we'll get that cut off in a second here. 123, be seated. You want to wait? Yeah. Folks, I'm going to give us a minute to try to see if we can get it shut off. Now, normally, you guys know y'all would have to leave the building, right, and not just keep sitting here, okay? I just want to make sure that, you know, this is a little different this time. Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. We're going to do the oath again so that everybody can actually hear it.
Yep, we're gonna do it.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Right.
Police officers, when the alarms went off, you guys stayed at the post, so that was encouraging. So we'll do it one more time, and then this will be official, okay?
Yes, sir.
You all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Raise your right hand. Okay, state your name.
Nadine Hemphill,
Marcos Vasquez.
Cynthia Benjamin,
Bruno Wrench.
Chantal Dixon, Brad Carter,
Jason Grieco.
Sean Basoman. Gilberto Hernandez.
David Santiago.
Cedric Esquiel.
Daniel Krenza.
Do hereby swear or affirm
Do hereby swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and will discharge my responsibilities
and will discharge my
as a
responsibilities
police officer
as a police officer
of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority
of the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority,
with dispatch,
dispatch,
total dedication,
total dedication,
integrity and partiality,
integrity and impartiality,
and will faithfully perform the duties of that office.
perform the duties of that office,
I will obtain all evidence lawfully
and lawfully,
and will work diligently to determine
and will work diligently to determine
the facts without fear or favor.
the facts without fear or favor.
I will accurately report my findings,
I will accurately report my findings,
regardless of whether they
as well as enforce the law,
where it is incumbent upon me to do so.
where it is incumbent upon me to do so.
I will abide by the rules and regulations
I will abide by the rules and regulations
of the Transit Authority
of the Transit Authority
and will obey my superiors
and will obey my superiors
in all lawful matters
in all lawful matters
of duty performance.
of duty performance.
I accept the police credential and shield
I accept the police credential and shield
as being representative
as being representative
of the special trust placed in me
of the special trust placed in me
as a Metro Transit police.
as a Metro Transit police officer.
123, be seated. Thank you, Chief. We appreciate that, you know, the duo. So prior to this graduation, Class 123 attended and graduated from the Northern Virginia Criminal Justice Academy. The regional academy lasted 20 weeks and was comprised of recruit officers from various police agencies in Northern Virginia. That graduation was the final phase of training for their regional counterparts. And although this was a proud moment for Class 123, unlike their peers, their training was not complete. Class 123 had to successfully complete 18 additional weeks of training at the Metro Transit Police Academy. In total, Class 123 completed 38 weeks of law enforcement training. This demonstrated the determination, dedication, and desire possessed by the class to become Metro Transit police officers. So, at this time, we're going to have some awards presented to the class. They have no idea who won these awards, but we do have some awards for them at this time. Deputy Chief George Nader will present the first award. This award, named in honor of our first chief of police, salutes the officer achieving the highest average academic score in the class. The Angus B. McLean Honor Graduate for Class 123 is Officer Bradley Carter. Deputy Chief Stephen Bone will present the second award. This award, named in honor of our second Chief of Police, acknowledges the officer with the highest overall physical fitness score. The Burton E. Morrow Physical Fitness Proficiency Award for Class 123 is awarded to Officer Marcos Vasquez. Deputy Chief Warren Donald will present the third award. This award is named in honor of our first Assistant Chief of Police and acknowledges the officer with the highest overall firearm score. The Denny W. Stewart Firearm Proficiency Award for Class 123 is awarded to Officer Bruno Ulrich. The fourth and final award is the Harry Davis Jr. Marlon Francisco Morales Award for leadership, and it is awarded by the Chief of Police and Mr. Clark. This award is in memory of the two Metro Transit police officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. The Leadership Award is presented to an officer from each graduating class chosen by their peers as the individual who demonstrates the qualities of sound leadership and commitment to duty. The recipient of the Harry Davis Jr. Marlon Francisco Morales Leadership Award for Class 123 is Officer Adine Hemphill. So just so you guys know, we had a practice, and every time we practice, I looked that way, and I'm like, I had to make sure I consciously did not look at who was winning these awards. So they have no clue until today. So now we get to the best part of this, is what they truly want. The awards of the tri-jurisdictional certificates. Man, try saying that a couple of times. Chief Anzalo will now present the awards. Each officer is asked to come forward as the name is called. If any family members would like to come forward, we encourage you to do so at this time and take pictures with your family members. Class 123, attention. Officer Adine Hemphill. Just so y'all know, I tried to work on these names too, so you'll see how it goes. Officer Adine Hemphill. Did I say it? Did you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Kenny, go get one with her and just her kids. Hold on. Hemphill, get just your kids. We want to get one with you and the kids there too. Officer Marcos Vasquez. Officer Cynthia Benjamin. Hey, please. Officer Bruno Ulrich. Officer Chantal Dixon. Officer Bradley Carter. Officer Jason Greco. Officer Jean-Loup Prince Basami Basami. Was I close? Yes, sir. All right, okay. I was trying. Officer Gilberto Hernandez. I'd also like to acknowledge his uncle who's here, Lieutenant Leonard Best from the United States Virgin Island Police. Just so everybody knows, Officer Hernandez, his first name is spelled with a G, Gilberto, and everybody's called him Gilberto the whole time until yesterday. They all found out it's actually Gilberto. So, yep. Officer David Santiago. I'd also like to acknowledge his significant other who's here, Mackenzie Cox of the Supreme Court, United States Police. Come on down. Officer Cedric Esiao. Officer David Krenzer, Daniel Krenzer. I can't believe I messed that up. I've known you for how long? And wow, I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry, family. Officer Daniel Krenzer. So this brings us to the end of our graduation ceremony. I just want to say this before I get into the end here. I'm a big Marvel Comics fan, and I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, and I've always remembered the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. We are entrusting you with great power. Use it responsibly to serve the members of the department and those in the community. You are no longer just an individual. You are a Metro Transit police officer. Anything that you do does not have your name on it first. It has Metro Transit Police Officer on it first. You represent everyone here. So everything that you do reflects on all of us. So remember that and treat everybody with respect. It was said earlier, make sure you treat everybody the way that you would want someone to treat your family members. So this brings us to the end of our graduation ceremony. Class 123, remember your training and remember your oath. Use them to guide you on a successful, safe, meaningful career in service to our department and to our community. Class 123, welcome to the department. Badges. Let's put those on now. Yeah, we're gonna make this actually official. No more almost off. That's what I call them, almost police officers. So now you're actual police officers. No more recruit officer. Everyone badged up over there? All right. So on behalf of Chief Anzalo, I want to extend a special thank you to the family and friends that are here today. They're going to need you more now than ever. So please, make sure that you stay there and that you give them your support. Congratulations to all of you, and will everyone please remain standing as the honor guard comes in to retire the colors. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our ceremony. We do have refreshments for you out here, so please join us for that. And please, one last round of applause for our newest members of the department.